Hey y'all, welcome to Spirit Tea Talks podcast with your spiritual big sis, Sin from Divine Hoops. Join me to spill the hottest spiritual tea about co-creation, Santísima Muerte, reading, spells, numerology, and everything else that you can think of. I'm here to inspire you and help y'all tap into your most authentic and divine self. So join me in this walk of life and know that you are not alone in this healing community. Can't wait to laugh and cry with y'all. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and answer any poll questions at the end of each episode. It truly does help me by y'all rating this podcast in whatever platform you use. To be in the know for any group rituals, tarot specials, follow me on IG Divine Hoops and also divinehoops.com. We also started our book club called Story Healing Sorority that you can follow now on IG. For more insight behind the scenes and longer episodes, make sure to join my Patreon. See y'all soon. Welcome back to Spirit Tea Talks with Divine Hoops, aka Sin. What up, y'all? I've been meaning to do another episode, but I guess I just kept forgetting. Nothing really major. I've been really focused on my website, and trying to navigate everybody that's used to DMing me, Cash App, Venmo, and all of that to my website, which is divinehoops.com. But today's episode, I really wanted to talk about something that I've personally been experiencing, and seems like a lot of people may need to hear this message. I don't know what's going on with this Scorpio season that's got a lot of people feeling on motherfucking edge, okay? It's a lot of people that have hit me up with they're in a very dark place, or they're just feeling overwhelmed, or they're losing their spiritual journey, such and such, right? And you guys are going to obviously hear my daughter in the background because you guys are always going to hear her and her greatness, okay? But, and I felt that. I honestly felt it because I also have been having my days, like my amazing bomb-ass motherfucking days. And then some days I'm just like not really feeling it. What has helped me, and I've been preaching this to other people, and I think I'm just sounding like I don't give a fuck about their feelings, or what they're going through. But in reality, it's really that simple. And I hate that it sounds like that, because to some people, it may not seem that way. Check your altars when you're going through a hard time. Do you even have an altar set up? And you don't have to have like a deity altar. You should always start with your ancestor altar. So, how's your altars looking? Do you have lights? You have candles lit? Have you went and done prayers in your altar? Have you vented to God? Have you vented to your ancestors, to Santísima Muerte? Have you? You're feeling in this fucking rut of, feeling lost in self and lost in your spiritual journey. But have you done anything about it besides being consumed with this, these feelings? What are you going to do about it? That's honestly been my answer. And I know that it may sound really fucking, again, rude, or that I don't give a shit. But in reality, like, I can't really do much besides tell you, like, well, what are you going to do about it? Have you gone to your altar? Have you prayed? Have you talked to God? No? Then that's where the problem aligns. Now, I'm saying this because of experience. I am not going to be preaching something that I haven't gone through, or especially for something so simple as like, have you gone to your altar? Have you created an altar? How's your altar looking? You know, we're going to have 1,000,001 excuses to why we're not in our altars, and there shouldn't be any excuse, quite frankly. That's just how I see it. I understand that some days we may gravitate elsewhere. We may want to feel things out. We may be fucking exhausted. We may be always working. You know what I mean? So I understand. But taking 5 to 10 minutes of your day to go to your altar, bow your head, light a candle, a fucking tea light. And for those 5 to 10 minutes, just putting your worries at ease and letting God and your ancestors and whoever you work with handle that for you. Why wouldn't you want that? I've been hearing so many different excuses, and again, understandable, but where there's a will, there's a motherfucking way. Me, myself. I know where people are coming from and why they may feel overwhelmed. I get it, because I was like that just not too long ago, you know what I mean? And the moment that something in me just shook me to my core. And I typically don't how do you call it? Like, I don't navigate elsewhere from my altar, or like I forget about it for too long. Okay? Because I feel the effects of when like I don't go and attend to my altars. My ancestor altar and my Santísima Muerte altar. Okay? I feel the difference. The moment that I rebuilt Mama's altar, and I talked about it my last episode, I believe, that like shit just started happening again. Really great, amazing things started really happening and popping, and it was just so telling in itself, you know, like, this is why consistency is key to anything that you do in life. And since then, like, I have been just, again, obsessed with her and how to make it better, all of it, you know what I mean? And that's why I tell people, like, I understand. I completely understand, like, when y'all are telling me, like, well, I'm working so much. Like, for example, like, my hubby, he's been working nonstop. So the Orisha altars have not been attended as much, because he would be the one that would be on top of it and praying and all of that, you know, all that great shit. And it's a lot to maintain for just like one person to maintain like 8-9 altars, you know what I mean? So I've been trying to like get him to be like, hey, can you help me with like the candles and such, like, just not pressure anybody into going to the altar, but trying to get them motivated back up again. Okay? And he's been slowly doing it, but I have to constantly kind of remind him, like, hey, go talk to Obatala, go talk to Elegua, because I get it. When you're fucking tired, you don't really feel like doing shit, or when you're in a funk, I get it. But that's when you should be going to your altars. That's when you should get your rosaries. If you're on the go, like my hubby is all the time, like, have something from your altar to be carried with you. There's traveler altars that can be made. And there's no motivation. Like, there's just, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I get the no motivation part. But if you are feeling in a rut, that's when you need to lean towards your spirituality even more. So that's when you need to talk to God, because the energy is just going to consume you and consume you and consume you. And then there's going to be a million and one more excuses to why you're not doing what you're doing. Like, well, it's been months and I don't feel like doing it anymore. Well, it's been this and I don't feel like it. Well, it's been that. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? When are you going to get to it? Are you going to wait until you're completely in this fucking hole and now it is way too deep for you to get out of it? Or not that you can't get out of it, but it's deeper and now it's going to be harder for you to get out of it. Because instead of attending to your altars and speaking to God and praying to Santísima Muerte or to whoever you pray to, like, why? Why? Whew. That's been on my mind heavily for the past 2 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks that I'm just like, somebody needs to fucking hear it. And I didn't realize it until like I started doing my healing rituals and people were just like venting out, and I was just like, wow, I did not realize how many people needed a healing ritual, a cutting cords ritual during the season. But it makes sense. It's, Scorpio season is all about shedding the old, bringing in the new, and embracing those changes. So I say that because it makes a big ass difference when you go to your altars. The energy is just so felt through. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I cannot see myself going through something hard. And, just like the other day, I was having a really tough day. I couldn't handle it. Saida, baby girl, is approaching what they call it, the terrible twos. And she's extremely, like, her personality is huge. And one thing that, like, I must start correcting people when they say, like, oh my gosh, she's such a handful, or like, she's too much. Because that's not cool. Okay, she's a toddler. She's having her personality being shown through. And I don't want motherfuckers telling my daughter that she's too much or she's a handful. Because then when she gets older, what if men tell her that? And then she's going to have like low self-esteem. So no. Today, I realized that I was just like, when people say that, I'm just going to be like, yo, well, then you can't handle her. That means that you're weak. My daughter is not too much. That yes, that she has a big ass personality, she does. That just means that you gotta fucking step it up. That means that you gotta fucking keep up. Okay? And that's something that I also have to remind myself when I'm having hard days with her. Okay? Because she is super fucking active. And she's just, if you've seen Saida, like, she is just a ball of fucking sunshine. Okay? So there was this day that, like, I was extremely tired. Her sleeping schedule has been completely thrown off. I think the daylight savings bullshit has thrown her off even more so. So it just fucks with me, And then I do like my spell work at nighttime. I don't really get to rest. What the fuck is rest, okay? So this day I was just really having it. Like, I completely broke down. Like, I was trying to clean and she was throwing shit. It was just a mess. And I like cried to Alex, like, I can't handle this. And as amazing as a husband he is, like, he really, even though he was at work, he reached out to his family to try to come and help me. And during that time, I was just kind of like trying to more so handle my own emotions than anything else, because it was truly my emotions that were getting the best of me. And that has nothing to do with my daughter. You know what I mean? She's a toddler. She's getting to know her own emotions. So I need to do better at navigating my own, so that she can navigate hers better. So I understand, because that whole day I was in bed and I was just looking at my altars and I was just like praying to Mama, in my bed, because usually when I'm going through something hard or difficult, I tend to kind of shut down. And not approach my altars. For some reason, like, it was, I don't know if it has anything to do with like when I was Catholic, making sure that you present yourself to God in the best manner possible. And when you go to church, make sure that you're dressed appropriately and looking on point. And I think that's just like trauma that's being carried over. So that could be it. The more that I'm talking out loud, that could be a reason why I may feel like sometimes distant towards my altars. But I am getting better at just having that thought, because if I already know how it feels like when I'm feeling low or feeling any sort of not so great energy, the automatic feeling I get once I speak to Mi Santísima Muerte or to my ancestors, I cannot see myself not doing that anymore. You know what I mean? I know y'all hear my daughter playing in the background, but anyhow, I really hope y'all can figure some shit out and make time for your altars. Because if your altar is in a dark place, and by what I mean by that, like it doesn't have its candles lit, it's dusty, it's not being talked to, there's no offerings, there's no fresh water, there's really nothing really going on, what do you think your soul is feeling like? Thank you, baby. If you're in a dark place, your altar should be the last thing that should also be dark. There should be candles lit, there should be incense going, there should be fresh fruits, fresh flowers, fresh water, all of that. Azriel says, clear water means a clear mind. Fresh water means, also a clear mind. And that's so true. You have all the elements in your altars for a reason. It's not just for a fucking show. It's a lot to keep up with. And people don't understand that sometimes. That when you get into this spiritual journey, it's not just how pretty your altar looks, which is a plus, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Because if your altar looks pretty, that means that you got some real good fucking energy going within yourself. You know what I mean? But start small, y'all. Like, do your little traveler altars. Do something, because you cannot just keep ignoring your altars and thinking that what you're feeling inside is just going to subside. It's just going to go away. Because it may not. It may linger. Because God, your deities, your ancestors want you to put in some work. Let them carry those burdens. Let them help you. Ask for help. If you don't know how to ask for help from people that are here in this realm, do you know that like a higher power can move fucking mountains for you by simply asking? Help me have a clear mind. Help me remove these obstacles. Let me know what I need to do to encounter and become a better version of myself. Your ancestors will get shit done ASAP, okay? Tu Santísima Muerte will definitely do some work for you. So why not put in that dedication back into your altars? So what are y'all gonna do about it? And then y'all can't go ask for money, prosperity, for some shit like that, if y'all are not fucking like putting, I don't understand. Okay, so like obviously if y'all are just going through some shit and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I need some money to come through, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask, light me a money candle and shit, right? How do you think like your ancestors and your deities are gonna feel? Like, you didn't come ask us for strength, for clarity, to help you with your depression and anxiety, but you're asking us to do a prosperity like candle. And majority of the time, some people that are going towards manifesting more money, more business, is not coming through the way that it needs to, because there's something else blocking that manifestation, because there's other works that needs to be done. I've told this to my clients plenty of fucking times as well. Like, those who are just like, I haven't seen any results, or hardly anything really happened, or things started to really fucking shift after I did the road opener. And it's because, and most of the times I'm just like, all right, well, let's do a reading. Let's figure it out. Like, what's really blocking you? And the blockages are your own self. Look in the motherfucking mirror. You have healing to do. You have other fucking demons that you gotta take care of before you try to fucking ask to secure the bag. Because the bag is not gonna stay long or prosper the way that it should when you're not properly managing yourself. How are you going to manage money when you can't even manage your own emotions? So don't go to your altars just to ask for fucking money. Don't do that shit. For money, or to like help me with this fucking person that's throwing shit against me. Like, sometimes like you're doing that shit on your own. Quite fucking honestly. You may think it's somebody, and in reality you're doing a whole self-hacks. You're talking down on yourself. You are having this ugly mindset. And again, you're not going to your altars. You're not going to your mentors and talking to them. It's just mind-blowing. You have these resources. You have the people. You have the ability. You have the strength and the willpower. You have a whole spirit squad waiting for you. And then you'll be wondering why shit is not going the right way. Why shit is just collapsing. Why bad things tend to happen. And it's like, you need to look at yourself in the motherfucking mirror. Because you sure as hell is not looking at your altar. I fucking get it. Sometimes it really does get hard. But the first thing that I'm starting to do now is fucking pray to my madrina. Is pray to my Santísima Muerte and just ask her for guidance. Ask her for healing, motivation, strength, patience. And she's come through, and y'all know she always comes through. So what are y'all gonna do about it? Are you gonna create your altar? Are you gonna create a traveler altar if you're on the go all the time, if you're not really home? Are you gonna go ahead and schedule a tarot reading? Are you gonna go ahead and schedule una plática with your mentor? Are you gonna go see your therapist? That's always my go-to. Like, go see your therapist. Quite fucking honestly, that's always been my go-to. Your altar and your therapist should always be the two fucking things that you go to when you are feeling low and you're feeling like not at your highest vibrations. You cannot go to your friends, because the blind cannot lead the blind. It's good to go vent, but then after a while, like, what can your friends really do besides give you advice? And then most of the time, the advice that's been given, you're not gonna take it. So it's best for you to seek a higher perspective, a higher power. Oof, excuse me. Ooh, sorry, baby. So get it done. That was really what I wanted to talk about in this podcast. Because I know a lot of you need to hear this. Trust and believe. I know the feeling. But I know the feeling even more so when I do go to my altar, when I do talk to my therapist, and I just feel this weight being lifted off of me. And then seeing my roads open up for me yet again. Don't you want that? Well, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Hasta la próxima.